Hurricane, a tidal wave, essence perfect, life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic but I can't get enough. You're burying me, yeah, you're burying me, You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa, I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the luck. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized.
everyone, and welcome to the beginning of our local establishment's WrestleMania week. I've got 7 shows, 6 of which take place in a 50-hour time span. Oh, I'm a busy bee.
Well, when you're talking about me, look at you.
We got Barry saying, hello, morning and bollocks. Barry, how excited are you that Scotland has a pay-per-view? I'm going to guess it's far away, you're not going, and you're just blah, but go ahead and tell us. He also jumps in early saying, this NXT was a bit blah, average, middling, hit and miss, up and down. I agree. I agree entirely with all of that. There was some good stuff. There was some bad stuff. There was some stuff that made me went, We'll talk about that as we go through the show. Astrid, how you doing on this WrestleMania Tuesday?
I'm already tired and we're barely started. This is the beginning of it.
Red ready because, oh boy. Hello, Papa Smokes, and he says bonjour. Astrid.
Bonjour.
No, bonjour.
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 Whatever. I got an accent. It's not the same.
Oh boy. Oh, this is starting out to be real good. Like our conversation earlier where I threatened to get a new tag team partner.
Good luck with that.
We're here to talk about this week's NXT, and this week's NXT began real crazy. Boom, right into it. Triple threat for the tag team championship opportunity. I really thought this was going to main event this show. Like, I thought obviously Melo and Trick were going to main event, but I thought this was going to be the final match before we got to the end of the show. I was very surprised that this opened the show.
Yeah.
Barry says, I'm not going to Scotland. No. But it's nice for what it feels like half the WWE roster to get a free trip home. There are a lot of Scots on that roster, huh? Isla Dawn. I think Alba Fire was very excited for this. I don't know if it's because of Isla or not. I know Piper Niven was waxing poetically about it on Twitter this morning. Obviously, Drew McIntyre is going to be excited to go home to Scotland because I think he's from that neck of the woods. I don't know. It's like sometimes like America. It's all the same. It's one big country. I know it's not one big country, but it feels like one big country. Yeah, I think you're Scottish. I don't think he's Irish, is he?
Ophelia!
Also, hi, Ophelia. Barry says we might see Nikki Cross. Yeah, I'd be excited to see Nikki Cross on that show. But you know who was heavily featured tonight? The women. The women of NXT were heavily featured tonight. Way more than I thought they were. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm putting together the thumbnail and I'm like, all right, this person's on the show. And all of a sudden I realized I'm like, I have like 10 women's thumbnails for this show. I'm like, well, screw it. They're all going on the thumbnail.
Hey, it's a ladies' night. It's usually the best night.
Ladies' night heading into WrestleMania. And you know what? Good for them. Because it's the only show where they're going to get enough matches that they deserve. Because now, Stand and Deliver is doing their part. 2 out of 6 matches on Stand and Deliver, not counting the match in the pre-show, 2 out of 7 if you count the pre-show, are women's matches. One of which is a 6-woman tag, so that counts 8 women on the card in all. 10 if you count the 2 from Metaphor who are going to be on the show as hosts. So NXT doing their part to go ahead and, as they always do, bring the ladies to the pay-per-view stage. Main roster, not quite so good. Now, we have Io and Bayley. We have Rhea and her opponent. And then we have Team Bad Girls, I think. The Bad Girls Club, whatever it's called. Jade Cargill and friends.
Yeah, we're not going with that name.
Jade Cargill feels like the biggest deal in that match. And I'm like, oh, I really hope that they protect her because I'm scared. That's a really big stage for her to be on in her first match on WWE.
I like that name, Ophelia. I vote for that one. I'm going to put it here since you're coughing.
Yeah, see, I'm not going to say that on the air because that's going to get me canceled. But yes, that's a really good name. Bad Girls Club is at least something that was teased by WWE at Raw. If you've seen pictures of the screens during commercial, They had the words Bad Girls Club up there. I thought they should just do Team Bad again. Naomi was part of Team Bad the first time. I think it worked for her, Tamina, and Sasha the first time. Might as well just do it twice. Not like he doesn't just roll out things a second time in a row. But we're getting steady to the track because, of course, we are. It's taking over, and I'm hosting.
No, it's because you're here, but yeah, sure.
Versus the LWO versus the Good Brothers. Astrid, what do you think?
I really love this match. I'm glad it was the opener, even though like I thought about it, like this was probably the match that should have been close to the main event because of the stakes it had. But again, I like how it started the show. Obviously, the LW always going all out for this, and it's like Axiom with the Spanish guy giving us a Spanish flies off the top rope. Is all that madness in that match is like I couldn't keep up with all of it, but I just enjoyed it so much. And it's nice to see the high flyers having that spotlight. Gallows and Anderson getting in there and actually doing something for once. That was nice to see as well.
Gallows took over 3 bumps. I counted at least 3, and I know I lost track of a couple of them. So he took at least 3 bumps. Gallows putting in work. Good job, Glue. Oh,
yeah. I loved it. And I liked the ending, having Nathan and Axiom winning my team to go. So I loved it.
Surprising for me. I'll be honest. Surprising for me. I really thought they'd go with the marquee match. I didn't. Not that I don't think that Axiom and Nathan are a marquee match. But it's not about that. I think the Good Brothers are name recognition. At WrestleMania, you want people that people know. And yes, maybe this is the better match. Absolutely. Nathan and Axiom versus the Wolf Dogs is the better match. But I was kind of looking forward to the Wolf Dogs running through the Bullet Club. The OC. I was kind of looking forward to that. And now I don't get it. And we've been teasing it for 3 weeks. I feel like they're going to lose now. And I'm going to be sad, even more sad than I already was. And I was blaming Astrid for making me sad. And now it's another reason why I get to blame Astrid for making me sad. But this match was great. It was a crazy triple threat. They, at one point, Axiom and Raul flung the other guy from the inside of the ring to like halfway across the ring to where both the Good Brothers were standing. Like, fantastic stuff. I mean, you know what? That's a long ramp for Luke Gallows to walk down just to interfere. Like, that's a lot of work for Luke Gallows just to interfere. I don't think
they'll probably go from under the ring. That's a lot easier for them.
Much more likely they come from the crowd or under the ring than they walk down that incredibly long ramp. Sometimes I need to poke the bear.
Thank you, Ophelia. We're a handicap match. High five.
Oh, trust me. Asher was poking the bear all afternoon with talk of Roxanne. And we'll bring up that conversation later. Lexis King cuts a promo on Von Wagner. And I went, oh, God, that match is tonight.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like,
God,
I feel like I was watching it like this. Oh, no, that's happening soon. Oh, well.
And then we get our first of many. Somebody comes to the ring. But first, the commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come back for the commercial break, do we go back to what we were already doing? No, we go to something completely different.
Yeah, that felt weird.
In our best Monty Python, and now for something completely different. Ilya Dragunov walking out to his car to find out that his wheel's been booted by Tony D'Angelo. I was almost calling him Tony Schiavone because I was watching the CM Punk thing last night. Tony D'Angelo booted his car and his goons pick him up and drive him. And I'm like, oh God, it's going to be one of those segments. Tony Soprano. Yes, Tony Soprano. Every time. It's always Tony Soprano's fault. But then we get Jacy Jayne and the entirety of Trashy Toxic 2.0 versus Fallon Henley, which is fine. Kelani Jordan, which is fine. And then Cowgirl Thea Hale, which is somehow worse than normal Thea Hale because she's going crazy in a cowboy hat that doesn't fit. Like, the cowboy hat. It's like she took Sean's hat. Why would you take Sean's cowboy hat? Like it was literally falling down her face. It did not fit.
And getting annoyed at anything. Exhibit A.
I don't have a lot of sanity left.
I noticed.
And I've got a long week. And I have about this much sanity so far. Because I'm worried that all of the things that I want to happen WrestleMania weekend are going to go up in smoke.
Yes.
I don't like it. Noelle Taken saying, let's go. Hello, Noelle. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. I thought this was a really good match, though. I'll be honest. I thought this was a great match. Jacy, Jayne, and Fallon Henley have relatively decent chemistry. Thea Hale constantly yelling outside, I hate you, Jacy, every time the camera's pointed in her general direction while Jacy Jayne is doing a rest hold is just the most Thea Hale thing ever.
Yeah.
I thought the idea of having Thea run through the ring at one of the, I think it was at Izzy. I think she ran at Izzy.
I think so.
And then Kelani came over and took out Kiana. And then Fallon had to take out the girl with one arm. Because why does she have to have one arm from the world's worst Kimura lock?
And why her? How many people has she done it to? And this is the only one that's had a sling on. And like how I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, Fallon went after her and she went, no, I got it.
Very monkey. This match was shockingly awful. It should have been good with the wrestlers, but really wasn't. I disagree. I thought this was good. It's at least the second worst match for the women on this card. And honestly, it's one of the better matches on the card because we've still got Von Wagner and Lexis King to talk about.
Remember, Barry's a Von fan, so he's gonna enjoy that.
But he's a Von Wagner fan in the same way that I'm a TNA fan. I'm a TNA fan because I like to torture myself sometimes. Not because I think it's good. What were your thoughts on this match?
No, I'm like, I really enjoyed it, and it's one of those matches that we were already expecting to like have not be too long because we expected this to happen at the PLE, so we knew this was kind of like a preview to that. So I was not expecting it to be too long either. And the chaos in itself was what I thought. I was like, oh, this is gonna go lead to this match. And I did like the part of like having them after the match, having all the girls come out at Gorilla, and you see Ava watching the match from there, and they're like, I can't wait to have her. And basically the way that, I don't want to say monologue, but that was basically monologue is what Jacy did there, talking about how she was back and it's nice to be back on top and how she pretended to be Thea's friend and to save the university and to do the calendar, all this stuff that she mentioned. And she's like, oh, it's nice to be back on top of like the things, like that's how it should be basically. And then having her group leave, only to Thea, Fallon, and Kelani to come in. And then she's like, I can't wait to have her on. And then Ava going, okay, we're going to make it happen. 6-woman tag. And then having Thea's reaction was priceless. I was just hoping from this moment they never mentioned kickoff, and I was like, thank God. I'm glad it's on the main card and not the kickoff. That was the only thing that I was like alert for. So they didn't mention kickoff, which I was really happy about. So like you said, that confirms us happening in the second women's match for the night. And obviously we're gonna have a lot of women involved in this match, so that's a nice thing to see. You're muted.
It'll be nice to have multiple women's matches on the main card. I thought that's good. I didn't love Jacy's promo, I'll be honest. Mostly because she's standing right there in Gorilla, and I hate any time I watched the CM Punk thing, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot wrong with that interview that CM Punk did. But one thing he kept saying, and I think it's right, is that we pull back the curtain a little too much sometimes, and I hate the idea of taking away the mystique of what Gorilla is. Like, I think that's supposed to be one place that's supposed to be special. Like, the place where backstage becomes television. Mm-hmm. It's a special little alternate reality where I don't think cameras belong in any way, shape, or form. Like, documentaries even feel weird doing it. Like, watching the evil man produce the TV show, at WrestleManias and things with the headsets on. Like, it's just... I don't like it. I don't like Ava being there because she wouldn't be there because she's not a production person. The general manager would never just be sitting at Gorilla. She'd be in her office where she belongs.
Yeah, I get that. But I like how it's something that, as long as they don't do it often, I'm fine with it, because it's something we've seen on Raw lately since Kevin Dunn has been absent from the show. Seeing those kind of different shots that we never get to see that are so different. That you're like, oh, I like how they did that. I want them to do it again. And like that kind of, I felt it a lot during the Rumble with oh my god, I forgot the name of the thing at the top. Shoot. But anyway, I like how they keep getting shots from like the audience going up like that, and the way they did it. It's just so different to see. Yeah, the drone. That's what the word I was looking for. So I like those kind of shots that you don't get to see often, and I feel like they're getting creative with them, and the way they did one on Raw recently, going from the ramp up to the ring to where the match was going, and it's nice to see it every now and then, to see something different, not just what we usually see. So I like seeing it. I just don't do it too often, because then it kind of, you lose kind of like the mystery of it. So it's like I don't want to see it that much.
Another problem I had is, agreed, it's with Barry. She saved Chase University to get revenge because she wanted to make herself like it. It's heel logic. It's one of those illogical heel logic things that I don't like in wrestling. She did something noble to save something instead of just letting it be destroyed and having her be the catalyst of its destruction.
I also think about it this way, though, because whenever any of them from Chase U, specifically Thea and Andre Chase and Duke, whenever they think about Chase U, they're going to think like she's the one that saved it. She's going to have that over their heads for as long as Chase U is a thing. So I think that I understand that point of view of like, whenever you're going to think about it, you're going to think like, you, Thea, didn't save Chase University, like I saved Chase University. So it's like obviously taking that moment of like, I came up with the idea, I got the credit. And I came up with like the whole plan, even if it's something noble. But at the end, she had like malicious intent over it, because they're gonna keep thinking about her whenever they think about how the university was saved, which I kind of get at the same time, because I'm like, it's gonna be over their heads for a whole long while.
But is it like she doesn't bring it up often enough? It's not a part of the storyline enough. Like it's this weird thread hanging out there that they haven't really addressed, because we haven't. In the midst of all of this Thea Hale stuff, we've yet to address Andre Chase of it all. And like the Chase U portion of it. We haven't even touched it. Which leads to believe that there's more of this bullshit to come. Like this isn't an end to this. This is more coming.
No, the next one has
Oh, okay. A non-existent calendar. No,
it is real.
Exists.
And it's sold out.
A bunch of times. But no, I like the idea of the 6-woman tag. It makes sense. Trashy Toxic 2.0 gets to take on Thea and friends, because, you know, NXT does a really good job of portraying multiple different women's storylines and with different reasons for fighting and different things to do. But it's Thea and friends because reasons. Like, they're her friends for reasons. We don't know why they're her friends. We don't understand. Like, there's no real reason for them to be her friends. Like, Fallon's a nice person, and she wants to team with Thea because she feels bad. And Kelani's roped into this for reasons. Like, but you know what? It's getting 6 women on a pay-per-view card on one of the biggest stages. And when we talk about the Supernova sessions, I have a bone to pick with metaphor for that one, and I can't wait to bring that one out. Okay, they all hate Mean Girl. I mean, okay, there we go. I'll take, at least that's an attempt. But you know what? NXT should be doing that for me.
That's true.
I shouldn't have to come up with reasons on my own. She's very toxic. But she is she the attraction? Because during the match, Vic Joseph said, and I quote, of course she's toxic. Look who she hangs around with, Gigi Dolan. And she turned her back on Gigi Dolan. And she turned her back on Thea Hale. Just say the fucking name, Vic. Say the fucking name. It's Mandy Rose, goddammit. She made nudie photos. She didn't go out and kill anybody like Chris Benoit. She didn't do what Vince McMahon did. She didn't do what Hulk Hogan did. She took pictures of herself at WWE facilities. Oh no, the humanity. How dare she make money for herself on the internet at places where WWE does production?
Yeah,
What the
it's
fuck, dude? Like, come on. I've wanted to do that rant for a while because it just keeps getting on my, like, it's really riding my goat. They just won't say her name.
I know
It's like,
it's
really? Like, I don't even know. I didn't even find them. Astrid told me about them. I didn't even know they existed. She told me before I knew. Because I'm like, because we talked, to pull back the curtain a little bit, we were on air on that Tuesday night. We did the show for Deadline. And we heard in the Deadline show that there was potentially something going on with Mandy Rose and that we'd hear more about it on Tuesday. And then Astrid goes, oh, yeah, she has pictures that have come out of her in and I'm like, I don't want to see, like, it's not something I was seeking out.
I mean, I didn't see them. I just knew about them. just
Whoa,
just
you knew about
to clarify.
You said you found them, but whatever.
No.
And then obviously she got let go for the reason that she got let go, and it's bullshit and dumb, but you know, whatever. And they just like, I think it's the stupidest reason to not mention somebody like in the world. Like they don't mention who Roxanne took the women's championship from for anything. Like even tonight, when Lyra brings it up, she brings up that it was a surprise, but she didn't bring up the reason why it was a surprise.
Yeah.
No, I did not. I
Like,
thought about it, but Ole told me I could not bill it as research.
yeah.
But no. Moving on from Mandy Rose and Jacy Jayne and Trashy 2.0, we're going to have that match at Stand and Deliver. We then move on to Lexis King coming out, but first, a really cool vignette for Josh Briggs. I like this. For a lot of the people who say they don't understand Josh Briggs, they don't get Josh Briggs, they don't like Josh Briggs. I get it. I can understand why people don't get or like Josh Briggs yet. It makes sense. This gives us a little bit of a window into what NXT is trying to tell. They're trying to tell that Josh Briggs is a guy who's trying to show off who he is after years in a tag team at the behest of JBL. Now, granted, Josh, you could have much better mentors in wrestling than JBL. Let's be honest. However, if you're a big guy who does a clothesline, JBL's pretty good company to be a part of. He has a decent clothesline, just like JBL did. I see the similarities. I see why they want to bring him on screen. I can see why Josh would be a fan of JBL's, and I can see why JBL would be a fan of Josh. It was a good promo to give us a little bit of backstory into who Briggs is becoming. Not who he is and what he's done, but where he's going, which I think is interesting because most vignettes talk about where you've been and what you've done. And this is very much more about the future than the past. And that's something interesting for a vignette. Welcome, HPC Bad Guys. Thank you for dropping in. We greatly appreciate it. Do you have anything to add about the Josh Briggs promo?
I mean, I like that. It's nice to see that reminder of who he is, like how he started for anybody that's watching the show that hasn't been watching before and get that kind of profile. It's like, yeah, JBL is the one that gave me the motivation basically to do this. And look at where I am now and basically going up from there, hopefully. But yeah, it's nice to see that reminder of like how he started to where he is now.
Yeah. And then
And it's one of those matches that it was a match and it happened.
I have no notes. Do you have any notes for Von Wagner versus Lexis King?
No. There was a table involved and I forgot who won.
Barry, do you? Lexis King won with the coronation. I have that written down. Yeah. I literally have 3 words. Lexis beats Vaughn. And I remember it was the coronation. Mike the ref says 85 stars. I understand they want to get over Von Wagner. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. I don't
I was waiting for it.
You know, I knew it was coming, and yet still, it surprises me.
Not
Okay,
me.
he was shite. He's always shite. Like, it wasn't a bad match. It's just a nothing match. Like, it's on the TV screen, and I can't focus on it to save my life. I just can't. All the stars. I mean, I feel a little bad for Lexis King. Because
A little beady.
I want to see what he can do. And this is not helping his cause.
No, not at all.
He came in and he was part of that mellow trick thing. And I'm like, would have been 90 if it were the Tokyo Dome. Like, I felt like there was something there when he was like pretending to take credit for taking out Trick. Like, there was something there with that sleazy heel who, you know, he didn't take out Trick, but he'll let people think he did. I'm like, okay, that's something cool. And then they put him in a feud with Vaughn, and I'm like,
Yeah.
And now it's been so long of this that I can't remember anything else he's done. Like, what wasn't he trying to go after Oba Femi in the North American Championship at some point?
Yeah. And Dragon Lee and all that jazz when it happened.
I can't imagine this guy in the North American title picture right now. Not because he's not talented, but because I can't remember any of his matches because he's in there with Von Wagner, who is literally a charisma vacuum to the point where I can't pay attention to the fucking TV screen.
And just like, aside from beating up Wagner and Stone, there's really no point to this feud whatsoever for him. Nothing. He gains nothing from this. I just don't understand why they have him doing this.
Vaughn would be better with the scary kids managing him. I agree. I think Robert Stone's kids are a much better manager than Robert Stone. And again, I can say that about almost everything Robert Stone has done. When he doesn't have Jacy, he has nothing.
Hi,
Jacy. Or DJZ. Zima Ion was really good in that group too. And if you don't know who DJZ is, that's Joaquin Wilde. Used to be DJZ. Yes, he has potential, and yes, he needs a new character. Both of them need a new character. Both of them have potential. Neither one of them is going to live up to it if they keep wrestling each other.
Yeah. And that's what it is.
We get Ava backstage talking to Carmelo Hayes, telling them the ref is going to be very lenient on Saturday, and they got extra security and extra referees for tonight, which just means we know we're getting a brawl to end the show. This is Ava just telling the audience, just like The Rock last night, oh, Cody Rhodes isn't medically cleared, so that means he's here. Good, thank you. I appreciate knowing that at 8:05, as opposed to having to wait till 10:55 to find out if Cody might be coming out.
It's one of those things like you're saying one thing, but we translate it to another because that's how it is here.
Yeah, it's the wrestling logic of, oh, you're telling me the opposite is happening. It's opposite day. Thank you.
Yeah.
We then get to the Supernova sessions. Okay, there's a lot.
Where you're skipping a lot.
I did skip a lot. To be honest, I skipped a lot of crap, to be honest.
I mean, it's your girl anyway. After that, honestly, you can just go and skip to the Arianna part.
I saw Roxanne, and I just assumed that we were going to something halfway decent, and I forgot we weren't. Roxanne comes walking backstage and just randomly disses Natalya for no reason. Because she's a heel and has to do heel things.
No, that goes back to Total Divas. Come on.
Yes, I understand. Which is why her dissing Natalya is, again, disingenuous, dishonest, disheartening, and frankly, just disgraceful. Because they think that we're going to believe this bullshit, and we don't. We see through you, Roxanne. There's not much of you to look through. You're about yay wide. And then Lola Vice goes to the ring. But first,
let's skip that part.
Well, no. We've got some other stuff. Hold on. Let's get on the comments. We go to commercial break, and when we're in the commercial break, we'll catch up with the comments. HBC bad guys. Oh, Roxanne's promo sounded terrible to me. We'll get back to that. We will get back to that because I did unfortunately skip. It was so Natal. It was so novella. Yes. Again, we'll get back to the promo in a bit. Arianna Grace won before that, didn't she? She didn't win the match, but she was backstage, and she was delightful before that. I was like, wait a minute, what? All right. So Roxanne, Natalya, if you don't know about the Total Divas thing, when they were filming Total Divas years and years and years ago in season 1 of Total Divas, Natalya and Nikki Bella are walking into the building, and a young Roxanne Perez is by the side talking about how she wants to be a professional wrestler when she grows up. And they've used that footage in her promo packages, building her up as a babyface, talking about how she's wanted that since she's a child. And so last week, when she cut the promo where she's cutting up all the pictures and talking about how she doesn't love her heroes and how she has to go at it alone because being the good girl just doesn't get anything done, yada, yada, bullshit. I used a whole bunch of diss words because it was dishonest, it's disingenuous, it's disgraceful. It's all the diss stuff because it doesn't mean anything. It's all just her being heel for heel's sake. So this is just more of that by her dissing Natalya to her face. Arianna Grace is backstage with all the dresses waiting for Georgina to come in. But Georgina. By the way, 3 weeks now, we've not seen hide nor hair of Georgina, and I'm really disappointed. Because Arianna Grace is trying to carry this shit. Like, she's been doing posts on Instagram. She's been doing things backstage at NXT. Where the hell is Georgina? Why
We've only seen her with a stash, and that's it. That's all we've seen.
Yeah. But Wren comes in, and she's asking about the dresses because she sees the pretty dresses. And, of course, girls, sparkly dresses, instantly they want to know what's going on. It's probably not true, but that's what they led me to believe. But anyways, Wren asks her why she's doing this to Gigi. And she says, well, I'm trying to make Gigi better. I'm trying to make her Miss NXT in training. And Noelle says facts. And I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. Yeah. I'm right, so I'll take it. But we go ahead and Wren says, but you're trying to change her. Isn't the whole point of pageants to be yourself and to honor your true self? She's like, no, you simple child. No. Pageants are to show the best parts of yourself, to show off who you are at your best. I have to help mold Georgina into what the best version of Georgina. And Wren's like, no, you're just trying to make her worse. And she's like, no, those are fighting words. Again, Arianna Grace, top notch. The character work, the promo's not good. We'll be honest. The promo sucks. But she's selling it because you believe. Again, the difference between Roxanne and Arianna Grace. I know Arianna Grace is, in actuality, a pageant girl. We've seen it. When she was injured, she literally won a pageant in Canada. So this isn't something new for her. She is a pageant girl. So the idea that she's playing this pageant queen makes a lot of sense. As Barry Monkey says, she can do no wrong because the character work is on point. When the character work is on point, you can get away with crappy writing and not the greatest promo. Wren here was actually really interesting. She was a good foil for Arianna Grace. Not because she was entertaining in any means. No, nothing like that. She's very stiff and boring. But Arianna is so entertaining. She lights up the room so much that even Wren feels like a character in this world because of how great Arianna Grace is.
It just reminds me again of what her father is like. It's like they don't care what they look like because they're entertaining you. They could be ridiculous. They could do the thing that sounds the most ridiculous and it sounds terrible and it looks funny on screen, but they don't care because they just look at it like I'm playing a character and I'm doing this to entertain you. As long as you're entertaining, I get a reaction from you. I did my job. So.
And did you hear the crowd? Like the crowd was into this backstage promo segment. You could hear them making noise during a promo segment. That's a good sign for the Arianna Grace character. Okay, we've talked about good things. Now let's talk about a train wreck. Lola Vice versus Karmen Petrovic. But before we do that, Noelle says Arianna hates violence, but also those are fighting words. Yes, and I love the fact that she makes it clear that those are fighting words, and this is against what she wants. She hates what Wren said so much that it's made her have to go physically prove to her how wrong Wren Sinclair is. I think that's another great part of Arianna Grace's character. Like, the idea of a pacifist in wrestling is never a good idea. It never works well. Somebody who thinks that everything is lovely and handbows and rainbows and butterflies and all the unicorns and everything, it doesn't work when it comes to a wrestling match. So you can't have the pacifist who refuses to wrestle. But if you have the pacifist who doesn't like to get physical, but when certain things come, she forces that physicality out, it makes her a much more entertaining and interesting character. Barry Monkey also says this is one of Lola Vice's best matches, but that's like picking the best dog turd. I'll be honest, I didn't see any of this match because I was during the commercial break in between the Arianna Grace segment and the match. A mousetrap went off while I was showing my mother the Roxanne entrance from Raw last night. So I had to go deal with the mouse, and the mouse got away, and it scurried off into the back of the behind the cupboards and whatnot. So it's gone, hopefully, to tell its friends to not go back there because there are monsters there with traps. So thankfully, I didn't have to sit through this match. Astrid, however, tells me it was a train wreck.
I think that's the best way to describe it. It's just, again, this thing with Lola, I can't really, watching her, just like, I feel like Karmen had very little offense, but when she did, she looked good when she did anything. And with Lola, I just feel so forced. The best thing she did during this whole match was a full Nelson and the sharpshooter in front of Natty, because that made Karmen tap in front of Natty. Those are the best two things she did during this match. And even at the end when she wins and she's celebrating and Natty's like checking on Karmen, she's like dancing in the background, and it looks so freaking ridiculous when she's doing it. Oh my word! I was trying not to look during this match because I was just so frustrated with it. Yeah, just thank you. This is exactly it. The dancing poster win. Lola's dancing pose win worked very well on me, helping me hate her. Yeah.
It's not a humane mousetrap, I hope. No, it's a standard snap trap. My mother doesn't like the mice. She wants them gone. She doesn't want them in her house. So we have the normal traps. Yeah, I mean, Lola is Lola. We deal.
I'm glad this happened tonight and not stand and deliver. That's what I'm glad at least for sure.
Yeah, at least she didn't get to stand and deliver stage. Ilya's in a car on the way to his date with Tony D'Angelo. Long where he's walking through a warehouse where they're doing all kinds of creepy things, but nothing happens. Like, a lot of build-up to be continued. Yeah. Then we get to the Supernova sessions.
Finally.
We do finally get to the Supernova sessions. And Astrid, I'm going to let you talk about this first because I have some thoughts.
Oh, so. Okay, he's letting me go first because he knows I'm nicer out of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, this one wasn't bad either. I like the back and forth between both of the girls. And I like Roxanne standing her ground. They had a good response to each other. I also like the attack, like that kick that Lyra did at the end to Roxanne looked very nice. I really like how this came about. And yeah, I was like, they had a good back and forth. It was like, I was not expecting any less from both of them. It just, I guess, the fact that I'm still getting used to having Roxanne as a heel and having her be the contrary of what she's been this whole like year and change here in NXT. So that's, I guess I'm getting used to in that aspect of it. But I feel like she's going and she's doing a little better every week. So that's at least progress. Now you can go ahead.
Okay. My notes entirely as written, and Astrid can verify this because I've sent this picture to her from my notes. Supernova sessions, the Latina Joker talks and talks. And then Lyra puts her in her place verbally and then physically by putting her through the table. What I mean by the Latina Joker is we have Roxanne Perez. I can't freeze frame the exact second where she smiles, but this is just moments after she has this massive teethy smile.
She looks like
And it
Tatum here.
reminds me of the Joker. Just the red lips, this big honking, like full teeth everywhere smile. And she says so much to say nothing at all. But Lyra puts her in her place verbally. Like, you had a chance last year to win that title back, but you couldn't climb a ladder faster than Indy Hartwell. And then you call this your championship, but it wasn't your championship when Tiffany won it. Wasn't your championship when Becky held it, that's for damn sure. But now that I'm holding it, now you claim that it's your championship. You had your chance a couple months ago, but you failed. But you blamed that one on Lola Vice. And she's like, Lola Vice used the breakout contract. You know, oh my God, it was a surprise. You mean just like you won the surprise when you won the women's championship? Again, not mentioning the name Mandy Rose because, God forbid we mention the lady with the nudie pictures. But like, she's right. Like, she won the title on a night where they had to make a snap decision to get the title off of Mandy Rose because they're firing her hours later and they have to make sure she doesn't have the championship when she's being fired, which is fine. And then we go ahead and she brings up the ladder match, which is good. I wish she would have brought up the triple threat where Indy Hartwell gets hurt and they were going to hand the belt to Tiffany Stratton over Roxanne Perez because nobody wanted Roxanne to have the title again. Then she lost in the women's championship tournament, which they didn't bring up, which I really would have wished they would have, because she's not just lost like random things. Like over the past years, she's lost opportunity after opportunity after opportunity at getting back to the championship. And it's just so unnerving to read these reports from Fightful Select. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's great. I'm trying to work on it. It's just so there. Like, look at these pictures again. It's just that. It's almost like they're the same. I think I'm going to get hate for that one. You're writing that time down, right?
No, I'm sending you something else that just came up was about Gacy. So
okay, but anyways, one of the things that me and Ashley went back and forth with, what I mentioned earlier on our Slack chat, where I talked about needing a new tag team partner, because she was showing me the reports from Fightful Select from Corey Brennan. Credit Corey Brennan and Fightful Select.
I say, I love you, Corey. Great job of what you're doing. That's a different story.
Corey, I have some issues with your reporting, and I really hope that you.
No, Corey's doing great. I'm happy for him. Anyway,
I'm sure he's doing fantastic. Corey, the biggest problem I have with you is that you thought that the pay-per-view was on Friday as opposed to Saturday. Like, come on, get the fucking date right for once. Like, come on, it's an easy one. It's an easy one to get right. Anyways, back to Corey Brennan's actual reporting as opposed to just a small, tiny mix-up he made. It sounds like this heel character is going over very well backstage, to the point where they're potentially thinking about putting the title on Roxanne Perez. I can't tell you how disheartening this is to hear that they're potentially putting the title on Roxanne Perez. I just want her on the main roster. I don't care if she's heel. I don't care if she's face. I don't care if she teams with Cora Jade when Cora Jade comes back on the main roster. I don't care if she tag teams with Cora Jade when Cora Jade comes back to NXT. Just get her off my fucking TV screen. You finally have me invested in the Bird Lady to the point where she's no longer the Bird Lady. She's Lyra Valkyria, the NXT Women's Champion. You finally have me invested in this woman, and you're going to give the title to the wackadoo? No. You do not reward the wackadoo who's been walking around punching random people in the locker room for the past 3 months. It's not what we do here. It's not what we do here. If you want to do that, send her to AEW. I hear they like it when you do that shit backstage. Look what Jack Perry got. Hell, CM Punk. The Young Bucks. Look at the Young Bucks. They've got NBAs. People can't talk shit about them. Like, if you want to punch people backstage, AEW is the place to go. Especially if you don't want to make money and you don't want to sell tickets. Like, the fuck are we thinking putting the title on Roxanne Perez? No, bad.
This is the back and forth we had, but it was not in person. It was in keyboard.
No, and the best part was the 90% of this conversation was adding gifts. We weren't even vocalizing actual words or sentences. We were just sending gifts back and forth.
Oh
So,
my God.
yes, they are essentially ignoring Roxanne's anxiety issues and just saying that they took the title away from her. And they're neglecting to mention any rhyme or reason as to why the title was taken back. And honestly, you know what? Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going through my Discord for a moment here. And I want to see. Yes, I can. Okay. Share screen.
You're gonna show? No.
I'm just gonna share it.
I'm glad I don't say anything bad. Jeez.
We have the story here from Fightful Select. I've now read the story. No, bad officials. No. Uncle Roger, Daniel Bryan, LA Knight, Bailey, Triple H during the rain delay. To which Roxanne says, "Let's go." To which I say, I reject that and rebuke it.
This is pulling back the curtain a little too much.
At this point, Astrid has lost all faculties and she's just responding in emotes. And I'm just like, that's a no for me. We get to hate her. Why can't I have nice things? I finally accept Lyra. And you
no, it's because I was leaving work. That's why you barely got anything.
Okay. Then we get ha 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 ha.
Oh my God.
And now I tell you that I need a new partner. And we go
Okay,
back.
there. No, stop it. That's behind the paywall. I don't want to get in trouble.
Behind the paywall. So this is the portion of the story that says that it's Friday's premium live event.
Oh my God.
And that this spot wasn't initially, apparently is not the spot that was meant for Cora Jade, that they were supposed to be tag team partners.
Oh gosh, I can't stop crying now.
Sharing the screen.
Jeez.
One of us gives SRS $5, so it's fine. It's fine. Oh, that was fun. Like, no, I knew that our DMs at this point were pretty good up until a certain point with the show. Am I going to Philly? No, I'm not making the 6-hour journey to Philly. I thought about it. I really thought about making an 8-hour journey just to go to Philly. I don't fly. It's a long drive, and honestly, there aren't enough people going to Philly that I really want to meet to actually go to Mania weekend. Like, there's only a select group of people that I would like, that I want to meet in the media world, and most of them aren't going to be in Philly. So I'm going to save it for an opportunity when there are going to be more people going to something that I'm going to.
I like how you answered. I was going to ask, whose question was this for both of us, for him, for me?
Well, I mean, of course, I'm from Boston. Of course, we're too good for Philly. Philly sucks.
Still, it's like, I'm the one that went to the pay-per-view before, so maybe it could have been for me. That's what I was going to say. Who's the question for?
Also, it's for both of us. It's also, it's not that there's not enough important people. There's not enough people important enough to me to meet. Yeah. There are certain people in media that I want to meet, that I want to hang out with, that I want to have a face-to-face conversation. Yes, you. At one point, yes, I would love to have that one-on-one face conversation. That would be great.
I can't wait to annoy you in person.
It's going to be so much fun. No, Astrid is not going to Philadelphia. She did not apply for this. She spent too much money at the Royal Rumble that she didn't try to go to Philly.
Oh, thank you, Ophelia. I love you. You know that? I love you. I'm glad you're here.
and just assuming it's not for Astrid. Okay, so
No, I'm not going because I'm saving my PTO time, as we call it. I'm saving my time off for something a little bit later in the year. So if I went this weekend, it would have been harder to come back to work, and I needed to save that PTO for later. So it's not the spending money; it's the PTO time. I need to build it up again.
And also, just so we're clear, there is no bigger supporter of Astrid than myself.
That's true.
I have said on multiple occasions for her to drop me like an anchor and go to other opportunities. She's had other opportunities to cover shows for different places that can get her more exposure. And she chooses to continue working for me. And I'm the one telling her to go take the opportunity.
With you, not for you, honey. Get it right. With you. With you. No, it's true. It's true what Ed is saying, though. I tell him afterwards after I said no. I don't tell him before.
Bobby will be covering NXT now.
Oh, no. Bobby will not do that on a late Tuesday. But no, Ed is right, though. Like, I've had moments that I had opportunities, and then I tell her, like, a couple of days later, we're like, oh, I got asked to do this. And he's like, why didn't you say yes? I was like, because at the same time, it's taking over. Duh.
And your point? Go do the other opportunities. I can cover this for a night.
There's nobody like this dynamic duo.
No, there's nobody like us. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm not sure, and I'll just take it at that. We had a Dijak. Yeah, it was really good. It talked about the past of Dijak, what he's been up to, what he's done, and what could be for him in the future as he's talking about winning North American Championship. Again, it's a great piece for Dijak.
Yeah. Maybe wish he was champion.
On Twitter everywhere. If you haven't seen his Twitter game, it's almost Drew McIntyre levels of fantastic.
Yeah. I love the signs, though. Whenever he points out the signs, there was one with The Rock and Dijak from Monday. I'm waiting for him to tweet about that one if he hasn't already.
I think he already did. Then we come back to something really cool. Oba Femi properly looking at a television screen, watching the Dijak vignette. And he says at Stand and Deliver, he's going to show both Josh and Dijak why he's the dominant North American champion. And he walks straight from that position, like you talked about, right past the backstage area, right out to the thing. Not through Gorilla, but like through like a side area of the entrance to go out a different way. I love this. I thought this was great. You see him entering from the back. Like, so you're seeing the crowd in the ring in front of him as he's walking with his big back to us. Just fantastic. I thought this was great. Again, he's getting more and more over in front of it with this crowd. However, I love the Black Panther chants. I love that the fact that they you need to let the man talk. Please, for the love of God, crowd, let this man talk. He can do it. He's capable of it. Let him talk.
Yeah. He has his moments. But no, I this is the first time I actually was able to actually listen to the chants, like, clearly compared to before. I was like, now I see what Ed is talking about. Yeah. I feel like I can hear them at least.
Like, it didn't throw him off this week because he was behind the scenes. It wasn't in front of the crowd, so the crowd's chanting later, and he's able to just keep going because he can barely hear them. But I think it was you, Noel, who pointed it out to us a couple weeks ago that the crowd was getting him off kilter. It might have been him, might have been Barry. I don't know. It might have been a lot of people. But either way, Oba Femi's a total package. He's not the greatest promo, but he's going to be good. He can cut a good promo. He can cut enough of a promo to get over. He is loved by this fan base. He is big and massive and can throw people around. We'll talk about that in just a couple seconds. And he's so new, and this crowd is taken to him. And I love it that this crowd is like, no, we like you. You're one of our favorites. And the matches are getting better. In between this, we had a commercial break, and Ava talked silently to Trick Williams, probably telling him the same things that we talked about with Melo. But all that was done silently. Oba Femi defeats Joe Gacy pre-match when the camera goes upside down, and it makes me squirm and almost makes me throw up because I hate it. Shawn Spears comes out and nails Joe Gacy in the back with a steel chair. Gacy then gets to the ring and he tells the referee this is what he wants, this is what he wants. The referee says, as long as you can get to your feet, you can have the match. And they go out and have a banger. It wasn't long. It didn't take too long. It wasn't great. Like, it never hit the great heights, but it was pretty good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Good TV match. He did perfectly hit Gacy with that chair. That thing was loud. Gacy fell right to the floor. It was really good. But Gacy in this match sold really well for Oba. But the more important thing is Oba sold well for Gacy. Mm-hmm. Oba was selling in this match, which is something we don't see too much. Gacy took it to Oba. There was a lot of give and take. It made Gacy look really strong that he was able to take Oba this deep, to take this much out of Oba. That palm strike. I now just want to see Oba Femi versus Gunther.
Oh my God.
I want the chop off between the two of them. Because
that was so rough. Not only between the sound and the landing from Gacy, I was like, holy crap. And then they replayed it right there right away. I was like, yes, this is what I like to see. I wanted to see it again. And they replayed it right at that second. It's like, that hurt.
You can see later on there's just a big red spot over Gacy's chest. It's just fantastic. Gacy goes to hit the upside down. Oba tries to catch him. He fumbles him a little bit. Gacy's a big guy. He wasn't in the right spot for the Snake Eyes. It's a little bit on both of them. It was a botch. Let's be honest. It was a bit of a botch, but he still pulled off the Snake Eyes properly. He didn't drop him. He kind of fumbled him a little bit, but in the end, they got where they needed to go, so that's good. Again, Oba's a young competitor. He's still learning. He's still developing. This is going to be a good thing for him to keep going with this. Mm-hmm. But after that, he goes ahead and tosses Joe Gacy out of the corner. And I don't know if Gacy hit his head. I don't know what happened here. I know Fightful Select has a report out. I haven't been able to fully read it, so I'm not going to read it on screen. But the ref basically called it off real quick just to protect Gacy in case there was anything going on. There's obviously, they must be fine because Gacy versus Spears was confirmed later on in the night for Saturday afternoon for the pre-show. I think this is great. I think it makes Oba look good, even if it's not. I thought it could be a storyline injury where it's like the ref stopped the match for whatever reason because he didn't like how much offense was going against Joe Gacy, and the ref was looking out for Gacy, and Gacy's mad. Like, that's a storyline that I could be part of.
Yeah, reading it now, it says there was a concern for a possible concussion. And then the other part was that the original plan was for Dijak and Josh to be involved in a segment with Oba. But because of the injury, that's when it happened backstage with the three of them later on.
Yep.
And then the part of Gacy going with Ava to the office. So that was filmed obviously later because of what the injury scare. It wasn't supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was pretty much it. But it was just like a little possible concussion. That's why they ended it the way they did. So,
which made sense because when he threw him, he didn't land on his head. He landed on his shoulder. His head might have bounced, but it wasn't like he was thrown on his head like Johnny Gargano on Monday night when he did the dive. Who was it at the indie show that Riddle dropped on his head? I forget.
I don't know about that one.
Riddle dropped somebody on his head over the weekend at an indie show because, of course, he did. Why wouldn't he? But yeah, good match for Oba Femi. Made him look strong. You have any more thoughts on this match other than the fantastic slap?
No, it's like it was better than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest. And it's not to dunk on them or anything like that, but yeah, I like how they, like you said, how they sold for each other and the back and forth they had here. Still, they both look strong, which I like about it too. It's like it didn't make Gacy look any weaker. I kind of missed the part of the X being thrown, but I could hear it when it was happening that they called for the match to be done, and I could see in Oba's kind of reaction that he was not expecting that at the moment either. But it's nice to see now at least he's okay, and to see the changes that they do at last minute because of it.
Yep. We get Lyra and Tatum backstage, and Tatum's trying to find out what's going on with Lyra, and Lyra says, Tatum, I will do anything to keep this championship.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. Tatum Paxley is going to save the championship of Lyra Valkyria at Stand and Deliver. So we can get rid of Roxanne Perez and she doesn't have to take this championship. She's going to cost her the championship by accident, isn't she?
Maybe.
So Ruca comes to the ring, but first we have the mental mind games and discussion between Tony D'Angelo and Ilya Dragunov on their date. It's a crowded date. Tony's family's there. You know, and I mean the
chaperoned.
The Saxon crew, not this D'Angelo family. That D'Angelo family wasn't there.
Yeah.
I'll never get tired of using that one. I'm literally keeping it in here. Like I would have deleted it by now. I'm keeping it because it's too funny. All this build up for Tony D'Angelo to lose this match. We're wasting all this time trying to make Tony D'Angelo feel like he's going to win. He's going to lose, right? Like he's not winning this, is he?
I don't think so. It's like I'm torn about in this aspect because we had missed Tony being Tony like this, and I like how it's coming off right now. But I'm just gonna hate it because it's just gonna feel like it went from like, yeah, we're enjoying it to having a downfall because he's not winning the championship. But I like what's happening right now. It's just like I'm enjoying what happened and then Lady on the Trap. But it's just like I like what is happening now. It goes back to what we were talking about, how we missed this side and this part of Tony that we had before. And now that we got it, it's gonna be like short-lived because it's not gonna have the same kind of feeling to it when he loses a championship and we get to see him the week after.
HBC Bad Guy says, I think he's definitely ready. Ilya's been ready. Ilya never needed to come to NXT. Like, he was ready in NXT UK to be on the main roster. Like, he didn't need anything. He could have gone right from the Indies to NXT UK, spent 6 weeks in NXT UK, and then gone to the main roster. Like, this dude's perfectly ready. I don't know what you do with Tony D'Angelo if you have him beat Ilya Dragunov here. Like, he doesn't feel like the type of person. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Much more. I was going to say, because I'm like, I just don't know what you do with Tony D'Angelo. Like, even D'Angelo's run with the strap. Like, it feels. Who does he take on next, and how does he win these matches? Because, like, let's go over the list of the top baby faces in NXT right now. Trick Williams, and Trick Williams, Who else?
Shoot.
Nathan and Axiom are going to be tag team champions.
Because Baron and Braun are, oh no, very. What? He's more at the bottom. We gotta give a break in between before we put his name up. Yeah, it's tough.
Like who else is there after Trick? Who is the top baby face behind Trick Williams?
Good question.
Do you consider Josh Briggs a baby face? Is it Brooks Benson?
Yeah, but I wouldn't put him in there.
Wesley, if he returns. Okay, I could buy that. Wesley, if he returns. I don't know what the timeline on that is, but yeah, I could buy that for half a dollar. I could buy that. Oh, but Oba's a heel. I love Oba. I think Oba's great, but Oba's a heel. He's not really a baby.
He's Thanos for a reason.
He's definitely Thanos. Like, he's Nigerian Thanos. Like, that's what he calls himself, and it's what he is. Hold on. I'm pulling up the NXT men's.
I can't believe also that we cover NXT in a weekly basis. Can't think of anybody. Dang, I'm fired.
Like, thinking about this. I just want to find out. Here we go. NXT men's current roster.
It's just complicated because somebody like Briggs. Oh my god, I can't talk. He almost feels like a tweener because he's not really a heel, but I wouldn't put him as a babyface either. So it's like I'm torn on that one. Dijak is a heel. Gacy's just crazy. We don't even know where he lands.
Idris Sanofe? Eddie Thorpe?
Eddie has been off TV for woof.
Javier Bernal?
Yes, we won. Hashtag we won Javi.
Hashtag we won Javi.
We won Javi. I miss Javi on TV.
Keanu
Ew.
Carter, Lucian
He's been-
Price, Malik Blade, Mark Coffey, Miles Bourne.
Gallows has been off TV too.
Yeah, like there's nobody.
No,
There
Mike-
are
look at
no
the-
baby faces on NXT that I can think of as top baby faces.
No. Because even Spears is more like a heel so far.
Yeah, like there's. That's the thing, like, and so that's why I go back to like Gacy, not Gacy. Might as well be fucking Gacy, but Tony D'Angelo can't win the championship because what's next? If you ask me who the top heels in NXT are, Baron Corbin, if they lose that match and Braun Breaker goes up to SmackDown where he belongs, Baron Corbin versus Ilya Dragunov again, I'm fine running that back again. Josh Briggs, Dijak, if either one of them lose, well, if both of them lose, both of them are considered top heels in my book. You could get into the Gallus discussion. Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, Wolfgang. Any of those guys feel like they could be a top heel if given the opportunity. I think you could do a really fun thing with Ilya Dragunov and the Coffeys. I think there's a lot of room for that. So as far as heels go, like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Then we move on to they ran down the card for NXT Stand and Deliver Part
I'm
2.
sorry.
Shit. Otis technically is on NXT. Like he's been here more often than not. Yeah, I guess you could do Otis.
That feels weird to say. I cannot. I know.
NXT has one top babyface. How has that?
The top
did I not know
babyface
this?
too.
There's two top babyfaces, the champion and the guy behind the champion. And that's it.
Yeah, because the other guys, it's like an Andre Chase and a Duke Hudson and a Riley Osborne, and it's like Axiom,
They're all
Nathan.
American title division.
Yeah, it's like they could be babyfaces, but they all have like a division to them. So it's like I can't even put them to go against Ilya. Oh, I mean Tony. So.
All right. You know what? Astrid's convinced me. I just told her no, but I'm going to do it anyways. So we've got some special guests coming up this weekend. We're going to go ahead and we're going to play the calendar in a minute. Well, you know what? We'll play the calendar right now, and then we're going to go ahead and play a video from a friend of ours when we come off the calendar. We'll be right back.
Hurricane, a tidal wave, essence perfect, life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, yeah, you're burying me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa, I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head again.
The Rock says, the Rock says, finally, I am coming to our local establishment this Saturday to do the review show of Stand and Deliver, and I will be on OLE for Sunday WrestleMania pre-show and post-show. So finally, I'm on our local establishment, and all of your lives have just got better because the final boss and the tribal chief will be standing tall. Now, can you smell what Mark is cooking.
One of the many guests that will be joining us on Stand and Deliver weekend, on WrestleMania weekend, will be Mark Talks Wrestling. So our schedules, we'll go ahead and do these plugs now because the rest of the show is mostly nothing. There's literally almost nothing.
Wait, are you talking about Mark Ophelia? Please tell me who you're talking about, Ophelia, before I die here, please. Oh my god.
So Friday night, me and Astrid are back here Friday night right after SmackDown to go ahead and talk all things NXT Stand and Deliver. We'll be doing our prediction show, me and Astrid talking about Stand and Deliver. Right after Stand and Deliver ends, you can go ahead and join Mark and Amanda Savage from Monday Night Besties. She also writes news for Wrestle Talk, so you can go ahead and see her work there as well. You can go ahead and check them out. They will be here for Stand and Deliver, the post show. Both me, Astrid, and our two lovely guests will be on that. Me and Astrid will be back again within an hour or so after that post show. We'll be back again to preview night 1 of WrestleMania with our good friend, my tag team partner on Marvel Talk, Andre C. We're going to talk all things night 1 of WrestleMania. The big tag match, the undisputed tag team championships potentially being separated. Other matches like Jay and Jimmy Uso and other things that obviously aren't those 3 matches, which are the only thing I can think of right now that are definitely on night 1. After that, our good friend Tony from Get the Tables will be joining us live right here as our local establishment meets Get the Tables, and we're going to go ahead and talk all things night 1 of WrestleMania and what we think might be happening, a little bit of precursors of what might be happening on night 2. After that, on Sunday morning, Point of View is being taken over, not by us, but it's going to be taken over as the WrestleMania Night 1 pre-show, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go ahead and have Mark Talks Wrestling, and Tom Collahue will be joining both me and Bobby as we go ahead and preview Night 2 of WrestleMania. Who's going to walk out as the undisputed Universal Champion? Will Io Sky retain her championship over Bayley? Other matches that might be happening on night 2 of WrestleMania. Again, I think that there's a schedule out, but I've not seen it.
Yeah, Triple H tweeted it.
Oh, did he tweet a schedule?
Mm-hmm.
After night 2, yes, the Meet Forever Mark Talks Wrestling and the wonderful Stephanie Hardy from the Hardy Wrestling Podcast will be joining us on night 2. It'll be me, Bobby, Mark, and Stephanie as we talk all things night 2 to end our crazy WrestleMania week. There's potentially a Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor show happening on Sunday that is still tentative. We have it in the schedule because we think it's going to be taking place. But one of our hosts for that show is getting married that weekend, and Kyle is still in the midst of being in a play. So we're not sure if Kyle's going to be available. We're not sure if Auntie Collins is going to be available, but they will be talking Supercard of Honor at some point. We are doing our Honor Ramble show this Thursday, so they'll at least be previewing it, and that'll be Andre C. joining Auntie Collins, if I remember correctly, this week for Ring of Honor Honor Ramble. Whew, that's all to say.
Thank you, Ophelia. You can make it weird anytime.
We like weird. Weird is good. We're all for it. And the rest of the match. There is a lot of matches, and I didn't know for certain which matches were on which night, and I just wanted to be there. Barry says, I'm not sure I'll be here. It'll be about 5 a.m. Barry, we understand if you can't stick around. Thank you for all the times that you join us. And if you want some sleep, it's okay. But Ophelia thinks that you can do it. She has faith in you. All right. So Ruca takes on
Blair.
That's the one. Yes. I couldn't think. I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, none of this is the next thing on my notes. They've sold to the ring.
I was about to say what happened.
We already talked about the Tony D'Angelo promo with Ilya Dragunov. They ran down the card for Stand and Deliver. The triple threat people all went in the back and they looked at each other and said, I'm going to win. No, I'm going to win. And then Oba looked at both of them and said, no, you're both going to lose. Ava says she has a great stand and deliver. And then that's when Gacy crawls up the table and says he wants Spears, which we already talked about. And that match will be happening on the kickoff show. And then we had the main event match between, as I was thankfully saved with by my good friend Astrid, Blair Davenport taking on Sol Ruca. This is a bunch of fun. I like this.
Yeah, I think this one though, because of I want to say the fact that Blair and storyline cost Sol basically a year of her career. I kind of expected the match to be a little bit longer, but at the same time, I did like how it went and the back and forth they had, and there was a point that they both went to the outside, and the way that she was doing the soul snatcher, and then here comes Blair to reverse it, like she already knows it's coming. And it's like I like how well they know each other, but I'm also glad at the same time that Soul won. I think something that she needed to. But at the same time, I feel bad for Blair because we had her. She's like attacking somebody. She's off 1 week, off for 2 weeks, and then she loses, and then this happens, and then she loses, and it's like, what's going on with her? Just like her booking is all over the place.
I think this is the problem with. They booked her so strong coming back with the attacking of everybody and putting all that into place that they ran into a problem where all of a sudden they didn't know what to do when everybody came back. It didn't help that the plans for Stand and Deliver, regardless what Fightful Select is telling me that I'm not, that what I was seeing on screen wasn't what was being planned. As much as they're going to tell me that that wasn't the plan, Cora Jade was absolutely the motherfucking plan for Stand and Deliver. Cora Jade versus Lyra Valkyria was the Stand and Deliver match. I don't care what Fightful tries to tell me. I watch the program week in and week out. I don't know if Corey Brennan watches the show week in and week out. I know he talks to people, and they might be telling him something, but I'm telling you, what was on screen, Cora Jade was not teaming with Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez turned heel because the top heel that they wanted to go up against Lyra Valkyria for Stand and Deliver got hurt. Blair is unfortunately left out in the cold. It feels like forever ago in December where she won that match. So was it January? Was deadline January or September or December? Either way, it feels like a lifetime ago when that Iron Survivor match happened and she got the opportunity and lost.
It almost feels like it never happened.
Yeah. And then we had main event Mello and Trick Williams, the first African-Americans, the first two African-Americans to main event a WrestleMania weekend show in WWE history. Congratulations to them. I was seeing so much tweeting from Victor Taylor Perry and him and those kids going to those shows and, you know, being the guests of Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania this year and getting the opportunity to do so much. We talked so much with you about representation and about how Backlash in Puerto Rico meant so much to you. There's a group of people that for years WWE's been mistreating. They have been taking advantage of them, especially on the grand stage of WrestleMania. I mean, Booker T's on NXT on a weekly basis. What happened to him was a travesty in the build-up to that match with Triple H. The 30 seconds it took to pin him after Triple H had that pedigree is ridiculous. However, to see Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams put on the kind of storyline that they've put on with Shawn Michaels, the in-depth storytelling, the back and forth that they've done has been so good, and NXT made the right decision to let that match main event this show. And they put these guys on last. It's the last thing that we see on this show is these two guys fighting each other, fighting through the entire locker room to get to each other. They didn't say anything that really meant anything because they've already said all the things that they've said. They didn't need to have this segment. We've all been salivating for this match for a month now. This match is going to be a banger. This match is going to steal the show, regardless of whatever matches are on this card. It's going to be the best match on the card. It's going to steal the show. It may be the best match in the entire weekend. I mean, we all know night 2, Roman versus Cody, is going to be the most overbooked piece of garbage known to man. But it's going to be delightful and great. in all of its overbooked glory. But this match could be the best story to finish this weekend.
Yeah,
And I'm glad they got the main event spotlight.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a little different with having a championship on the line, but still, I'm glad to see basically a non-title feud being the main event of the show. That's something that's, yeah, I feel like it gets a little bit more meaning that we think about sometimes. And like you said, having that meaning of, having the first two black men do this, it's incredible to watch it. And that it's one thing that WWE has had for quite a while is the mistreating of the minorities. And it's always been such a way that it's like it turns you off from watching it. It's the stereotypical parts of it, and to see people say, "Look, I'm Hispanic, but it doesn't mean that that's all I am." And you see that, for example, with Roxanne. She's Hispanic, but she doesn't mention it all the time. She just lets her work speak for itself. And it's nice to see, like you said, things like Backlash and see all these international PLEs. They haven't had all these fans having had the opportunity to watch all their favorite superstars, and to get the opportunity now, it just feels so nice to see like them being so happy to seeing those people, and not only from the pay-per-view in itself, but like having also like the press conference and things like that, and that whole week of how the makeup and how they make it such a spectacle. It's just incredible to think about, and I love that part of it more than anything. And it makes it more important and more special now when you see that representation on screen, because I feel like more than anything they're trying to make history somehow. And it's like sometimes it feels like you can barely make history nowadays, because I feel like almost everything has been done. But look, this is one of the few things I can say that they haven't done before, and they're doing it now. And just, I love it. I really love it. And shout out to Mark, because he called this out for like how many months ago, and it's happening now. So there you go, Mark, giving you your flowers and your credit.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to hear all about the show. Don't you worry.
No, for sure.
No, you're right. I mean, and to think, they've made American-based premium live events such a hot ticket because they've been doing them so rarely.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. After WrestleMania, I don't think they have another US-based premium live event for a while. Because after WrestleMania is Backlash, and that's in Paris. Then they come back for Money in the Bank, and that's in Toronto. And then in June, they're going to...
Isn't it Clash? I think it's in June.
Clash in the Castle in June, and that's taking place in Scotland. They're also doing, in August, they're doing Bash in Berlin.
Yeah.
So they're doing all of these shows outside of the United... Now, granted, Toronto is North America, so you can kind of just wrap
But
that
still,
up.
it's international for us, because we have to obviously leave the country for that.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to see, like, unless they put something from September on in the US right now, from September on, we don't have anything, and nothing in the US before that. So it's incredible to think about, like, the fact that they get to do this, and the fact that not only that, but if you see them, they're like the highest selling events they had in such a long time as well, because the fans miss having these events. And obviously they just came back from Australia not too long ago too, and like you said, they Puerto Rico is not international, but still they don't go often to Puerto Rico too. So the fans appreciate it when they get to see this, because they don't get to experience it often. So to be able to see this, like, I love having the crowd reactions, because it's such a genuine excitement that just makes you even more excited to watch the show too. And I love that.
So yeah, and now we've hit to the end of the show. Astrid, what other things are you doing this week? Is your interview finally coming out on WrestleMania week on Body Slam with Emily J?
It depends if I can work on it during Mania weekend. Good luck to me. Hopefully
Good night,
it'll come out.
Mary.
We'll see. Good night. Hopefully I'll be able to work on it during the little time off that we have that weekend. So we'll see. Other than that, if you go on my Twitter, I did, and I retweeted it, and I posted on my Facebook, and I forgot where else. Lyric did do a little survey for women in media, and she did a little like article about it, talking about the women in media. And it's nice to see, like, one of the questions is like, what are women that you would like to highlight? And it's nice to see so many other women getting highlighted just like randomly, and how we like hype up each other. So if you haven't read it, go check it out on her Twitter. I retweeted it too if you follow me instead. But it's definitely such a good read. She highlights a lot of minorities and women of color in that article as well. So I really love to be. I'm glad I was a part of it too. I sent it to Mel, but she didn't do anything on time. Darn you, Mel. But no, it's nice to see so many women getting highlighted in that way. Like you said, like you mentioned everything that we're doing this weekend. I'm mostly gonna be covering night one because I work after night two, so I can't do anything after that. But yeah, if anything, you can find me again. Everything will be on my YouTube. The Zayna interview is on my YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen it, go check that one out. It has more than 300 views on the Body Sam channel, but I would like mine to get views too. But other than that, oh, you do the good voiceover for this one.
You can go ahead and pick up Astrid's shirt. It's modeled here by the aforementioned Melba Collins and the wonderful Mike the Ref, who was in the chat earlier this afternoon. You can go ahead and get that at the QR code here. If you're going to pick up any merchandise of your favorites after WrestleMania, maybe you want a new Bayley t-shirt. Maybe if Cody finishes the fucking story, you can go ahead and get I was there when Cody finally stopped crying and won a championship. You can go ahead and get that at WWEshop.com. And if you're going to shop WWE.com this WrestleMania weekend, please make sure that you use Astrid's affiliate link. It doesn't cost you any more. You get the same great WrestleMania deals as anything else, but a little bit gets kicked back to the wonderful, the natural Astrid Pizarro. So go ahead and scan that QR code. For me, of course, you can find me on Twitter at EdFries12584, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002. Next week, we will be talking all about the first 5 episodes on Wednesday. We'll be doing Marvel Talk, where we talk about the first 5 episodes of X-Men 97. I am very excited for this. It has been a fantastic season. The new episode drops in just a few hours. I am excited to see that. So we'll be able to go ahead there. And since it's a Marvel episode, the wonderful Ophelia Payne will be in there, making sure to call us out on the things that we have and haven't seen in the world of media. So definitely go ahead and check that out. You can also go ahead and check me out next Tuesday right here with Astrid as we talk about the repercussions of what happened at Stand and Deliver. Who got called up on Monday night? Who we saw Monday? And all that fun stuff. Thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. HBC Bad Guys asking if those are brand new episodes. The episodes of X-Men 97, yes, this is the brand new X-Men 97. This is the redone, done in 2024. New, it's the same art style, but it's the following the same storyline from Graduation Day of the original X-Men show. It has the same theme. But all the visuals are touched up with the 2024 magic. It's been fire. The first 3 episodes are in there already. Within the next couple hours, we'll have episode 4. And by the time we air next Wednesday night, episode 5 will have happened. So definitely, if you haven't, HBC Bad Guys, definitely go and check that out. It has been really interesting to see them continue on from where they left off in 1997 and to feel this nostalgia kick of watching something that I used to watch on the afternoons in the cartoon, after I got done with my schoolwork or in the morning on my Saturday mornings. It's such a great nostalgia trip. It's fantastic. The theme song still bangs. I don't know why they put the skip intro button there. I'm never going to prep it for that show because that intro is just so fire. Thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.